Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So it's been quite a while since I have uploaded a video, and I keep saying that I'm going to come back, that I'm going to start uploading again, and I am planning on it. Hopefully this is the beginning of more regular videos from me. If I sound stuffy and congested, you'll have to excuse me. I'm having allergies. The allergy season has hit again. Or is still hitting. Last weekend it was close to 80 degrees here, and then today we had an inch of snow, and this weekend we're supposed to have 3 to 6 inches of snow. So it's crazy March weather, and I am enjoying it. Jean and I are going to celebrate Christmas actually this weekend. We had agreed when I was in the hospital, that when I came home, the first big snowfall, hopefully there would have been one, we would celebrate Christmas. So Jean hung up some Christmas decorations. We're going to decorate the tree tonight, and we were listening to Christmas music today. So Friday night evening is our Christmas Eve, and Saturday will be Christmas Day for me. It's really weird how when you're in a hospital or a rehab facility, how time kind of stands still. Even though I did celebrate at the rehab facility, Jean decorated my room for Christmas. We had lights. It was very pretty. I'll try to insert some pictures here while I'm talking if I remember to. I even decorated for Halloween. We didn't decorate for Thanksgiving because I really didn't know how to decorate for Thanksgiving other than hanging up turkeys, but it was we had an okay celebration together. We were together, and that's really all that counts, but it's not like being at home and celebrating. So when you're in a facility like that, at least for me, I don't know if anybody else has ever been in a facility like hospital or rehab type facility for a long period of time, but I'm having a hard time adjusting now that I'm home. You'll have to excuse me if the camera keeps moving because I don't have my tripod anymore and I'm just holding the camera. It's been hard adjusting being home to the time of the year because it seems like that even though we're going to hold pretend Christmas now, it still feels like that it should be we're getting ready for Christmas, like heading into the 1st of November, end of November. That's kind of like where my life paused and my life at the rehab facility took over, and I was kind of like in a daze, in a slumber, and I don't know how people live at, long term like that. It would be very confusing to me and a very sad situation if I had to stay somewhere like that for the rest of my life. So let me get back on track of what I'm going to be doing on my channel is taking you guys with me moving forward on my journey to physical recovery. And I'm going to, this video series, probably going to be 2 or 3 videos, is going to let you guys know what's been going on for the last 7 months and why I am in bed and why I am not up and sitting in my usual location. It has been a long and very frustrating 7 months, to tell you the least. Hang on. So aside from what I've been going through personally, Jean and I have been having some difficulties in our relationship, partly my fault, partly his fault, and we did separate for a period of time. Then we came back together because we love each other and we want to work things out, and also because he wanted me home. He didn't want me at the hospital any longer than I had to be there, and he was willing to take care of me until I can get up on my feet again and more mobile, as I was before I went to the hospital. So let me start let me go all the way back to August of 2021. That's when I went to the emergency room. I believe it was like August 15th or August 16th, somewhere in there. I was having stomach pain, like lower stomach pain. When I got to the ER, I was diagnosed with MRSA, urinary tract infection, as well as very badly constipated. TMI in that area, I know, but that's just how it was. And so I was admitted to the hospital, and I was put on IV antibiotics. And then in that time, I was in bed for 2 weeks. And then when I tried to get up to walk, I was having trouble ambulating, and I couldn't hardly stand up to get out of bed. It was very frightening. And at that time, we decided that I needed to go to a facility to get physical rehabilitation to be able to at least get back to where I was before I went to the hospital. I wasn't walking an overabundance, but I was taking some steps. I could walk like from my bedroom to my bathroom, definitely get out of bed and, transfer to my chair, my big wheelie. So that's at least where I wanted to get, if not move forward a few steps and get even better. So, I'm just going to be frank with everyone and just tell you guys how it is and my feelings on things. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. I'm just going to tell you straight up how I feel and what I went through and my thoughts on everything. The hospital social workers were having a hard time finding a facility that would accept me, I guess partly because of my weight, and then also partly because there is a shortage of, I'm sorry, my finger just went in front of the camera. There is a shortage in nursing shortage all over the country, partly because of COVID. There's such a demand for healthcare workers, and a lot of the facilities are filled with people that do have COVID. So it was a struggle to find somewhere to send me, and the days turned into weeks, and the weeks turned into a month. They still had not found anywhere for me. They had found one facility that said that they would accept me, and I was set to go there up until the day before I was supposed to go. And then the day before, they called and said that they were no longer going to accept me, and they gave no explanation of why. So then it was back to searching for another facility. I think it took another week to 2 weeks, and they found another facility. And this facility, they were searching for facilities from everywhere from my city to way out in Ohio and up in Pennsylvania, over 3 or 4 hours away, some in downstate West Virginia, 6 hours away. So they were searching all over the place for somewhere to send me, and they just couldn't find anywhere. They had finally found another facility that would accept me. It was just outside of Pittsburgh. It was about an hour away. And the 2 day, I think it was like either the 2 days before or day before again, they called and said that they had had an outbreak of COVID, that they were not going to, among the staff members, and that they were no longer going to accept new patients until, I think it would be like 14 days back then, and the quarantine time was, until they got that taken care of and things, cleared up. So that place was off limits. So that there was talk about waiting the 14 days to staying in the hospital. But at that point, I had been in the hospital almost 2 months, and my insurance was starting to not want to cover my hospital stay because, of course, I wasn't sick. I mean, other than the physical, let me pull down my hat here. It's slipping off my head. other than the physical need for rehabilitation, I wasn't physically ill. Like, my UTI had cleared up, the MRSA was gone, so there was no reason for me to actually be there, but they just couldn't find anywhere for me. We had kind of talked about me coming home with medical equipment and just having home PT, but then again, the home PT wasn't going to be approved with my insurance. So it just seemed like this big, it was just confusing, and it was back and forth and back and forth. And so eventually they went back to one of the original facilities, the one that declined me a day before accepting me, and they reapplied, or I don't know what the proper word for that is, but this time I was accepted to go there. And I find it kind of weird that they decided not to accept me the first time, and then all of a sudden they were going to accept me. So at that time, I didn't think too much of it. I just was very anxious to get out of the hospital and to go somewhere to do rehab so I could get home. That was just my only goal. So I was transferred to the rehab facility, and right away I had a bad feeling about it. I cried the entire first 2 days I was there, and I was scared. Gene was staying with me every single day at the hospital, and being there at the rehab facility, he wasn't going to be able to be with me every day. Gene had been with me pretty much, every single day that I was in the hospital for 2 months. He would come in the morning when visiting hours started I think it was around 10 a.m., and then he wouldn't leave until after 7 p.m. in the evening. There is a shortage of nursing. Like I said about the rehab facilities, there is a shortage of nurses, and there's only one nurse to like 22 patients, 23 patients. And I just required more care than they were able to give me, I felt. And that's why Gene and I felt that he was needed there to help take care of me, and he did help take care of me. So I was really scared to be at the rehab facility because he wasn't going to be able to be with me every day, and I had gotten used to having that extra help. And it was just the basic of help, because I think because of my size, for one, and two, because there was not enough aides and nurses to take care of everyone properly like they need to be. That is nothing against the nurses or the aides themselves. They do a very good job taking care of patients, but they just don't have the time to provide the entire amount of care that I required. So I was kind of going to be on my own for, a good part of my rehab stay. So I kind of adjusted to that. While I was there, I didn't think too much of being denied there the first time and then being accepted the second time for, I don't know what reason. But for whatever reason I was. And I started settling in there. All the nurses and the aides were very nice. I have no complaints. Well, I have one little complaint over one of them, but I'll get to that here in a little bit. But for the most part, 99.9% of them were wonderful. I'm even still friends with a couple of them. After I've left, I've remained friends with them. There were some wonderful ladies that took very good care of me, and I couldn't have asked for anything better. So, while I was there, the food, I guess I'll just touch on this too. I don't know. I'm jumping all over the place, but I just want to include this too. The food there, I was supposed to be on a diabetic diet. And come to find out that there's really no difference between a regular diet tray and a diabetic tray. The only small difference is You don't get real sugar packets on a diabetic tray. You just get sugar substitutes. You still get served the same foods. I'm going to insert a few pictures of, it was my goal to, because I only thought I was going to be there for a very short period of time, like maybe 2-3 weeks at the most. And then I would come home. But I turned out to be a lot longer. But I started taking pictures of the menu of what I was eating, what they served. You couldn't choose what you wanted to eat. It wasn't like the hospital where you could just call down and order off the menu. This was just, they brought you what they were having that day. And if you ate it, that was good. And I didn't realize in the very beginning I could ask them to order me something different. They had like a standard menu of like hot dog, hamburger, baked potatoes, soup, salad, grilled cheese, peanut butter and jelly, those kind of things that you could order every day if you didn't like what they were having. But I didn't know that until at least January. So I wasn't doing that. I was just eating what I was served. And the food wasn't terrible. It just wasn't the healthiest. The most healthiest food that I saw was a couple of times there was some lettuce in a bowl, then they considered a salad. I think one time they served a chef salad. As far as fresh fruits, they would do a banana maybe like once every week and a half. And one time we had a pear. And then another time there was orange slices. But that was the extent of the fresh food. There was no fresh vegetables. It was all canned or frozen, I guess. I don't know. It wasn't the worst food ever, but it certainly wasn't the best food. And I'm showing you now a sampling of the different meals that I had in the beginning. And they basically just run the same foods through. I got to like pick up on a pattern. It's sad that I was there long enough to pick up on a pattern, but they like just cycled through the same foods every like week and a half to 2 weeks. So it wasn't the food that I was hoping to have. I was hoping to have fresh stuff that was more manageable for my diabetes. But luckily the portions were still kept within normal ranges, and I was still able to lose weight consuming those foods because they were smaller portions. And it was a balanced diet. I mean, it wasn't that it was like unbalanced. You know, I'm sure that they have to follow some kind of guidelines for what they consider a balanced diet to be. But it just wasn't what I was hoping for a diabetic diet. I could have people bring me food. I did order DoorDash a couple times. And then the one time I was craving avocado so bad, I had Jean bring me an avocado because I thought I was going to go insane if I didn't have an avocado. Once I was there, it took 2 weeks before they even started PT on me to begin with. I'm not sure why it took so long to start. I have an idea now, and I'll get to that later on. But this is going to be like to tell you how I feel about how society treats an obese person, about obesity in general, about people with eating disorders, how you are looked down on in society. It's not like when you're obese that you want to be this way. Yes, I have failed many, many times at doing something about it, but it is an addiction and it is a problem. And I have never once said, oh, my goal in life is to be obese, super obese. So for the system, the healthcare system, to treat people the way they do is ridiculous. Especially insurance companies. But we'll get to that at the end of the story because I'll tell you what I've concluded from this whole thing. So after the 2 weeks, I did start PT. I was doing really well. They started with bed exercises. I was doing those daily, twice a day, actually. I had occupational therapy as well as physical therapy. And then after the 2 weeks, I started sitting up. We sat on the edge of the bed and did the exercises sitting on the edge of the bed. After another, I don't know, like probably week, then I started standing up. And my first goal was to stand up for a minute without sitting down. And I smashed that. I was able to do that. It just took me like 2 days to do that. The first day was really tough. And by the third day, it was getting easier. I did take a few steps. I was able to transfer my weight from foot to foot. And even though I didn't have my wheelchair there to transfer to, I was practicing on transferring, like pivoting, so it could transfer. Then at the end of November, I was diagnosed with COVID. So that set me back a whole lot. I don't know where I got COVID at, but being in a rehab long-term care facility, it's just a breeding ground for COVID. So somewhere I picked it up. I was the only person at the facility at that time because they had gotten rid of it all. Like everybody had went past their quarantine times, the people that they had, and somehow I picked it up from somebody. And then I gave it to Jean, and we were both sick for a couple weeks. I wasn't too terribly sick, thank goodness. I got the antibodies, the injections. They do one in each arm and one in each leg, and it's supposed to cut down on the severity of the COVID and how long it lasts. My big problem with COVID was I lost the sense of smell and taste, and that lasted for, I would say, at least a month. And even now I get weird tastes in my mouth and get like, at times I can't smell things unless I like put them very close to my nose to smell them. I did have shortness of breath for a good while, and I was on oxygen for a while. And I had some coughing. My chest was a little heavy, but that was the extent of it. I was very fortunate that I didn't have it any worse than that, because I think we all are aware that at my size, getting COVID is usually, well, you have a really good chance of it becoming fatal, and the chances, it's not good. The nurse practitioner told me when she was telling me about my course of treatment when I was diagnosed, she said that I could take a turn for the worst. It could get worse very quickly, and that I should be prepared for that. Fortunately, it didn't happen, and I am so thankful that it didn't. So after I got COVID, I was not able to do PT because I was so short of breath. It was hard for me to sit up. I obviously couldn't do exercises or stand up or walk or anything like that. So my insurance cut me from the program. I was supposed to stay and get better from the COVID. It was my understanding that I was going to continue staying to get better, get over the COVID. And then once I was completely healed and being able to breathe better, I was going to be picked back up for physical therapy, and then I would finish my physical therapy before I'd be released. I had so many release dates. It was crazy. My first release date was supposed to be November 30th. Then it was moved to December 14th, then December 31st, January 7th. Okay, had to pause to sneeze and cough. Allergy season, I think I said that at the beginning, but dealing with allergies. I had so many discharge dates. It was crazy. First, my original discharge date was supposed to be November 30th. Then it was moved to December 14th. Then it was moved to December 31st. Then January 7th. January 16th, I believe. Then January 29th. And then February the 4th. And then February the 12th, I believe, before I finally was released on February 22nd. It was crazy. And I will get into the story about so many release dates and why it never happened. I think I will stop here because this is going to take a couple videos because it's a long story. And I want to make sure everybody is filled into the entire story so I don't leave anything out of where I was going, you know, like where I was, what was going on, and where I am now. I do want to say that I appreciate you guys, the support that you have given me over the last few months. Jean and I are struggling pretty bad right now with making rent and all the other daily things that we need in life. We took a hard hit with paying for transportation costs for all sorts of things that we needed while I was in the long-term care facility. And it's not easy right now. We're struggling pretty hard. But as I move forward, I'm going to finish telling the story of what happened and what went on at the facility. Tell you kind of when I wrap it up, my thoughts on the whole saga in general, how I think that it's just unfair how obese people are treated, not by any one individual, but just by the system itself. And I believe that, I'll just tell you now that I believe that when I was sent to this facility, I believe that it was in the intention of the facility and the insurance company that I was going to become a long-term care patient, and I was probably never going to come home. That's why I was sent there to begin with. I don't believe it was to actually get physical therapy, but we'll get into that here in a little next couple days. I'll make another part of this video. Moving forward, I want to start making videos. I'm going to start home PT again on Monday and get back to where I was. Still waiting on my bed to be fixed. That's why I'm still reclined. I'm waiting also for my big wheelie, my wheelchair, to be fixed. It was not run in so long that the battery died. So I'm waiting first on an evaluation from PT before the insurance company will approve either a new chair or repairs to the chair that I have. So I'm kind of stuck in limbo right now of not being able to be independent and mobile as I was before. I know a lot of people were down on me for using a wheelchair, but it gave me independence, and it was better than laying in bed like I am now because I didn't have anything. I am able to sit up. I sit up for a while, but it gets tiring just sitting on the edge of your bed and not doing anything. Like I said, I will be starting physical therapy again. I'm waiting on a walker too because I'm not steady on my feet because I've been in bed again so long. So as soon as I get that, I can start, even without a wheelchair, I can start taking steps to go sit in another chair or to go to the living room or wherever, just not like long distances. I'm going to work towards that though. But I'm going to I'll show you physical therapy, and I want to get back to showing you what I eat and my blood sugars. I'll talk about my medications. I will be finally starting my Ozempic probably next week. I think they're just now, the doctor had to, that's another long story that I'll get into. The doctor had to make a lot of documentation and kind of fight with my insurance company about actually covering it. While I was at the facility, I was able to, the doctor prescribed it for me, but the insurance company denied it, I guess because there was not enough documentation. It's going to be kind of a long haul, and I have to be patient and remind myself that this has been a mess, and I am determined to get back to where I was and get better and continue losing weight and just moving on with life. So tune back in and I'll upload another video probably tomorrow and continue my story. And until then, I will see you guys again soon. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.